Hello BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing a bit of a book haul. What do you do when you're stuck in the house? You buy books? I don't know. I've just been in a bit of a romance mood. When I looked on my shelf there weren't many romance books, so I decided I was going to treat myself to some. This first one isn't a romance book. It came in my BookBox Club book subscription, and that is Hold Back the Tide by Melinda Salisbury. This isn't one that I would necessarily pick up myself. I've not been reading a lot of sort of fantasy and mystical books, but it certainly sounds interesting. It's set in somewhere called Ormscaller, and it's about nobody knowing what happened to Alva Douglas's mother all those years ago. It's why Alva can't wait to leave, but when dark forces begin to stir in the surrounding mountains, Alva has to face a very different future to the one she's been dreaming of, and questions everything she thought she knew about her past. A chilling tale about the dire costs of secrecy and greed. So definitely one that intrigues me, because it doesn't really tell you much there, but yeah. I don't know if it's fantasy or if it's set in modern day or what the sort of premise is, but it's definitely one that I'm intrigued enough to give a go. Okay, so I went through my wish list and I treated myself to some books. I have got Hate to Want You by Alicia Ray. This is one of those little mass market paperbacks, which isn't something I would normally pick up, but I didn't know, and it's not the end of the world. So this is about two people that come together once a year, every year, and just have a tryst. It's their deal. There's no sort of relationship there. They just one night a year they meet up, and then one year she doesn't show, and it is about that, and about forbidden passion, and about what happens after that. So yeah, I think this is going to be a saucy one, and I think it's the start in a series actually, so yeah, might be a good one. Yeah, it's the first novel in the Forbidden Hearts series. The next one is by an author who I was shocked to say that I enjoyed their book, and that is Tracy Garvis Graves, and I read On the Island, which is a story about a relationship between a woman and a younger man, a boy really, and I enjoyed it, surprisingly. And this one by her is called The Girl He Used to Know, and this is, I think, about a character who maybe not autistic, but definitely somebody that struggles in social situations, and is quite quiet, doesn't know how to read people and people's emotions, and about her and a boy and a past relationship which has not happened. You know, there's been a gap of 10 years now, and whether this, you know, whether there's going to be a meeting again, I don't know. It's going to be romantic, I hope. Because I read, or I'm reading for Forever Amber, which is a historical fiction book, quite meaty. I've really enjoyed getting into that sort of longer saga-y book. This one I've had for ages and I just haven't picked it up, and it's been on my list, and I just really want to. It's set in the South. It's called Tumbleweeds by Layla Meacham. This is about, it says, a recently orphaned 11-year-old Kathy Benson is forced to move from her academically privileged life in California to the small town of Kersey. Here in the Texas Panhandle, where the sport of football reigns supreme, she's quickly taken under the unlikely wings of up-and-coming gridiron stars and classmates John Caldwell and Trey Don Hall. Like herself, they are orphans with whom she forms a friendship and eventual love triangle that will determine the course of the rest of their lives. Taking the three friends through their growing up years until their high school graduations, when several tragic events uproot and break them apart, the novel expands to follow their careers and futures until they reunite in Kersey at 40 years of age. Told with all of Meacham's signature drama, unforgettable characters and plot twists, Tumbleweeds will have readers turning the pages, desperate to discover how it plays out. And there is another story by her called Roses, I believe, so that might be one that if I enjoy this that I will search out. Okay, so Twice in a Blue Moon by Christina Lauren. I love this author pairing, and I love Christina Lauren's books, and hopefully this will be one of those ones that I love. This is about a whirlwind romance between two young people and 14 years previous, and then there is a betrayal. The Girl, I think, is the son of sort of a famous actress or actor or pop star, and the boy betrays her. I think he must tell people who she is or something, and so there is that sort of sense of betrayal from this first love, and then 14 years later I think she's starting an acting career and perhaps they meet up on set or something like that. It's going to be sort of a second chance romance, I think, and yeah, I like those. Another romance that I'd heard of from various people is called The Bad Boys Girl by Blair Holden. This is a Wattpad phenomenon. I know a lot of people don't, but I really quite liked After and the series of that by Anna Todd. I thought it was okay. You know, it's like 50 Shades of Grey. Like, it's not great written. It is very cliche, and I'm sure there are certain problematic elements if you read into it, but in general I thought it was okay. I quite enjoyed the immersiveness of the story and the easy read of it. So, you know, like it's like eating chocolate, isn't it? It's like the instant gratification. I'm not saying that they're groundbreaking or that I would definitely hold them up to any sort of scrutiny, but for the gobble you up and read in a day and make yourself while away the hours when you're stuck inside, I don't see any harm in them. So The Bad Boys Girl, this is series 1, is about a girl who thinks she's ordinary. She's in her senior year of school. She wants to keep her head down. She is in love with this boy, and then she is unprepared for this boy's brother, who is going to set her world on fire, no doubt. Okay, so the next one I've got here is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. This one is set in a small town of Maine. Someone's gone there to sort of forget about stuff that's happened. It says the sound of rain, the blood. So there's obviously been some sort of desperately worrying thing happen. She's feeling safe, and then she meets Archer Hale, and a relationship no doubt starts. It says this is a gorgeous tale of survival and healing and the power of love. When I read the synopsis, it gave me that feeling of Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. I love the film of that, so it makes me think of that. So hopefully it will be just as sort of romantic and plot twisty and edge of your seat. Yeah. A book that was recommended to me by one of you when I talk about loving bee books, and that was The Murmur of Bees by Sofia Segovia. And I picked this up because once someone recommends me something in the comments, I always go and check it out, and this one definitely piqued my interest. This is about a baby who is adopted in Mexico. She's found under a bridge and she's covered in a blanket of bees, and there's this sort of superstition that she's kissed by the devil. She's taken in by these farm owners, and this child grows up to be able to see visions of the future, both good and bad, and is a source of wonder for this family that I think it's a him. Yeah, take him in. This is set in the backdrop of the Mexican Revolution and the devastating influenza of 1918. So it's going to be a historical book. There's bees in it, and I just think it sounds beautiful. So I can't wait to give this a go, and I just think the front cover of this is gorgeous. The next book is one that has piqued my interest a few times, so I bit the bullet and bought it in hardcover, and that is Things You Save in the Fire by Catherine Center. This is a story of a female firefighter, which I love the idea of, and I think she has to move from her job and where she lives to a different city to look after her mother, who is ill, and join the fire brigade there, and it's about joining that. I think there's probably going to be a romance in there, and I just like the idea of following a female firefighter. It's not something that I see very often in books, and yeah, I just want to see where Catherine Center has taken this one. The next book, I don't know, intrigues me because I don't know anything about American politics, so maybe this will all go over my head and I won't understand it, but I'm hoping it'll be a lighter read. It's called Campaign Widows by Amy Agresti, and this is about a woman who is married to a political candidate, and she goes to Washington, and then he goes off on this sort of political tour in election season, and she's thrust into this sort of inner circle of campaign widows, and this sort of friendship and this bond bond between these women who are left behind as their partners all go on the sort of campaign trail. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. It says at the top, it's an election season gone wild and they know all the secrets. So hopefully a fun, fast-paced read, but also maybe with a bit of American politics thrown in for those of us that are a bit politically inept. The next one is one that has been all over BookTube, and definitely one that I was interested in picking up. It's called My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I was very kindly gifted this one by Janet from Swirly Girly Reads as my sort of one of my monthly picks. She's very generous. She always sends me lovely books. And this one is about a girl who at 15 had a relationship with her English teacher. It's now years on, and she is sort of grown up, and she never really saw anything wrong with this relationship she had with him. But there is now a court case going on with someone that has sort of said that he obviously abused her, and so she's sort of forced to relive the past and rethink about the situation she was in, and was it abuse, was there something going on, has she seen it in a different light, and sort of reassess her thoughts and feelings on this relationship of her past. And I just think it's a really interesting perspective to take it from, and one that I'm interested in finding out how she tackles. So that is the books that have come into my house recently. Now I need to start reading again because I've been a bit slower in my reading. Definitely being out of routine for me just changes the way that I read, and having more time to read means that I don't end up doing it as much. I've got really into point and click games. I used to play them loads when I was at university on my PC, on my laptop, but now they've come out on sort of the iPad, so I've been playing some of those and really enjoying them. I like the puzzle aspect. I've been playing solo board games. I've been watching quite a lot of films and TV series, and so sometimes the book reading has gone to the wayside a bit, but I am getting slowly back into it again and finding time for it more in my life. So hopefully these romance ones will help, and certainly my TBR for April, which is filled with Sarah's Nightstand's 5-star reads, is full of some romantic books, as well as some that I think I'm really excited to hopefully give 5 stars to, and to cement the idea that me and her are sort of on par in terms of what we like to read. So we shall see. Anyway, let me know if you've read any of these and what you've been reading, and let's chat in the comments down below, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.